presents the League Championship Series. Tonight, from Yankee Stadium, it's the Oakland A's against the New York Yankees. The American League Championship Series is brought to you by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. By Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to test drive the 1982 Ford cars and trucks. By IBM, helping put information to work for people. And by Dutch Masters Cigars, the masters of natural wrapper tobacco. It's a cool, crisp night here in New York. Temperature about 53 degrees. A good crowd is on hand. Electricity all over this ballpark as we get ready for the game between the Oakland A's and the New York Yankees. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Garagiola. Alongside me, as always, is Tony Kubek. And Tony, as Brian referred to it before the game, it is like a soap opera. Will George talk to Billy? Will Billy talk to Reggie? And it's almost like the game is insignificant. In fact, I think Greg Nettles put it best when he said most kids, when they're growing up, think about being either a baseball player or joining a circus. I'm lucky I got both. But we are going to have a game here tonight. It'll be Norris for the Oakland A's and Tommy John for the Yankees.
Billy Ball, how many times have we heard that? I think Billy Ball is the greatest piece of managerial gamesmanship in the history of the game. Billy gets them thinking about everything but the Oakland A's. Every time a man gets on third base, he might steal. It's going to be a squeeze play. First and second double steal. To me, Billy Ball simply is a man who went out and taught a young Oakland A's team what his second father taught him. Casey Stengel taught Billy Martin how to play baseball. Billy taught that young Oakland A's outfielder to throw to the right base, to play in proper position. He takes the heat off their backs. If they get thrown out of the base, I'll take the heat. He has the opposition hitters thinking more about spitballs and grease balls and soap balls than he does about getting base hits. If the Yankees focus on Billy Ball, the Oakland A's could beat him. But I really think overall the Yankees are so overpowering, they could blow this Oakland team away.
When you talk to the Oakland A's, they say what Billy has done to the young players is taken the fear out and put confidence in. But like you say, he has them thinking. Today in the paper, it was like the Yankees didn't even have a manager.
Well, another man that I think is very big, we haven't heard Bob Lemon's name. We haven't heard Dave Winfield's name. Dave Winfield can beat you with his glove, his bat, his legs. He is coming into this thing not getting the publicity that Reggie has or many other players, but he's coming in with a tremendous intensity. He could come up being the star of this series.
I tell you, this whole before the game kind of thing, the hype, the newspapers, everywhere you go, it is Billy, George, and Reggie. But Tommy John, if he's got his good stuff, will throw ground balls. And if Mike Norris has his good stuff, you'll see a pretty good screwball.
Well, you've got Mike Norris, and there are really not any starting pitchers for the Oakland A's who are left-handed. But Reggie Jackson in your picture right now is a man who they will pitch around. Billy said to the press yesterday when asked the question, what are you going to do with Mr. October? What about the Jackson mistake? He said, we're going to go right after Reggie Jackson. You don't go right after Reggie Jackson in October. He showed that to Milwaukee. He's shown it to other ball clubs, even though he had a poor year. They're going to try and pitch, I believe, around Reggie Jackson. That means the man hitting in front of him, Dave Winfield, could get better pitches to hit.
Tony, as we look at Billy Martin, the Billy Ball, they talk about stealing home. He tried it 7 times with his team. Unsuccessful. Didn't steal home once, yet everybody talks about it. And they led the American League in home runs, so that's good old-fashioned baseball.
Well, that's that statistic that doesn't show up. The Yankees have a lot of power. As a team, they have not been hitting. The games they've been winning recently have been with a home run. The Jackson home run, the Gamble home run against Milwaukee. The Yankees can run, too. Billy, he has instilled in this team a kind of swagger, a swashbuckling style. They came out to the ballpark yesterday for the workout. None of the press were talking to the players. They were all talking to Billy. On the other side, they were talking to all the players and none talking to Bob Lemon. But the team swaggers when it comes in. They have very much confidence. They typify the personality of their manager, which I think most teams ultimately do, and their manager is Billy Martin.
And he lets that be known. We're waiting for Tommy John, and there you see him coming in from the bullpen. Tommy John, who, what a tremendous story. He is. Not only the fact that his little boy Travis is all right and he'll be here watching this game, but the operation, that seemed to drift in insignificance. Nobody thought he would come back, even the doctor who operated on him.
Dr. Job, when he performed the surgery, was first ever done on any athlete. He took a tendon out of Tommy John's right forearm, put it in his left elbow, and told him very simply, Tommy, you will never pitch again. Tommy proved him wrong. He's the winningest pitcher in the American League over the last 3 years, and has Clyde King with him. He will throw the sinker ball. You must be a very disciplined hitter against Tommy John, because he will go from the knees to the ankles, and the more you chase, the lower he's going to go.
He'll throw a lot of ground balls, as they say. And that operation, when Tommy explains it, he said it's just like your garden hose when it has a kink in it. There's no force at the nozzle, and his kink was in his elbow. They took it out, and he's been able to win a lot of ball games in both leagues. So he'll be the pitcher for the New York Yankees. Mike Norris with a real good screwball, a pretty good-looking pitcher.
Well, Mike Norris is the man they've accused most specifically of all on this team of doctoring a baseball. We'll try and keep our cameras for you fans, and you try and pick something up. The hitters complain. But Mike Norris is almost like a left-handed pitcher, because with that screwball and about 5 left-handed hitters for the Yankees, he can make them look awfully bad.
What they've been accused of is the pitcher's putting soap on the right hand, the pant leg here, and then rubbing the ball against the pant leg and loading it up that way. They use sandpaper. Some just use good old-fashioned spit. I remember kidding Drysdale. Well, it's crude, but I remember Drysdale one day threw one. You could see the rainbow from the mound to home plate. So
the thing about it, Joe, and again, this is Billy Ball again. This is gamesmanship. Whether they throw it or not, and some obviously do, the hitters are thinking that they throw it, and that gives the guy an extra pitch.
It does. If you get a hitter thinking about anything else but what he's doing, you're ahead of the game. Well, the Yankees are taking the field. We're getting ready for baseball. Now let's go to Bob Shepard for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise? We direct your attention to the microphone near home plate. Now, to honor America, let's join Robert Merrill as he sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave on the land of the free and the hope of the brave.
So, with the playing of the national anthem sung by Robert Merrill, we're getting ready for baseball, and we'll be right back after these messages. Here's the first pitch of the game. It is a curveball strike on Rickey Henderson, who'll be playing left field. There's the lineup: Henderson in left field, Murphy in center field, Cliff Johnson, the designated hitter, Armas is in right field, Klutz at third, Moore's at first, Newman's the catcher. Strike two. Dave McKay is at second base, and Rob Pichilot will be the shortstop. There you see it. The pitcher Norris. The DH, Cliff Johnson. Henderson, 2 quick strikes, had 6 home runs, 35 runs batted in, hit .319 on the regular season. All 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tommy John won 9, lost 8, 2.63 earned run average. Count remains at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tommy averaged 3.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. He walked 2.5 per 9 innings.
You can see by the first swing of the ball game by an Oakland Ape, tried to hit Tommy John the opposite field. Henderson just did. Cliff Johnson, a former Yankee and teammate of Johnson, had a separate meeting with a lot of the Oakland A's hitters on how to hit. There's Cliff, how to hit Tommy John. He said you got to be very disciplined, and you've got to hit the ball in the right center field or down the right field line, or at least try to.
Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Rickey Henderson. Born on Christmas Day, 1958 in Chicago, Illinois, now lives in Oakland. A's number 4 selection in the 1976 free agent draft. Bouncing ball to Randolph. 1 out.
Number 21.
A good crowd on hand. The batter is DWAYNE Murphy, who hit 15 home runs with 60 runs batted in.
Number 21.
251 average on the regular season.
This young man is an exceptional all-around player. Throwing, running, hitting for power. He will walk.
There's his strike. Born in Merced, California, now lives in San Ramon, California. A's number 2 pick in the June 1973 free agent draft. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers beat the Expos, and now the Yankees and the Oakland A's go at it for the American League pennant. 2 balls and 1 strike. You'll see that face a lot in this telecast. Billy doesn't move around the dugout, but he'll be flashing signs constantly. High hopper, Bob Watson, 2 outs. So they're 2 away, nobody on. Cliff Johnson, the batter, who had 17 home runs, 59 runs batted in, hit 260 on the year. A big guy, 6'5", 225, born in San Antonio, where he still lives.
He may be the counterpart of Dave Winfield in this series, although even though he's a DH, will only do it with a bat. But the plan of the Yankees is to not let Tony Armas hurt them. Cliff Johnson probably will play if it goes all 5 games, because the Yankee pitching plans at this point are to go with 5 left-handed pitchers in this series.
The A's got Johnson from the Chicago Cubs, along with Keith Drumright, in exchange for Mike King. And if he takes a swing and a fastball, you'll see as good a swing as there is in baseball. He really goes around on it. Taking a pitch all the way, ball 1. Eight of his 10 seasons, Johnson has reached double figures in home runs. He's not a ping hitter. He goes for the downs. 1 ball and 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. Ball game underway. A good crowd on hand here at Yankee Stadium.
Johnson, the man who, a former Yankee, who, when he had a playful little fight with Goose Gossage, injured Gossage, and Mr. Steinbrenner sent him off.
He didn't get it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think that the least talked about subject was baseball. It's, how do you feel Billy coming back? What about Reggie? What about George? A lot of extracurricular activities surrounding this game. One ball, 2 strikes.
The right-handed hitting lineup for the Oakland A's, when they face left-handed pitchers, is a stronger hitting lineup. But there's Bob Lemon, Mike Ferraro to the left. But Yankee Stadium is Death Valley in left center field. So the left-handed pitcher can say, here, hit it.
Struck him out. Foul tip held on to by the catcher, Cerrone. 1, 2, 3 for the Oakland A's. They go down in order. So we move to the bottom half of the first inning. A's nothing. Yankees coming to bat. Mumphrey, Milbourne, and Winfield. You're looking at Mike Norris and the lineup that he will face. Leading off, Jerry Mumphrey in center field. Larry Milbourne, what a job he has done since replacing the injured Bucky Dent. Milbourne will be a shortstop. Dave Winfield in left field batting third. Reggie Jackson in the cleanup spot in right field. Oscar Gamble is the designated hitter. Greg Nettles will be at third base. The first baseman is Bob Watson. Rick Cerrone, the catcher, batting eighth, and Willie Randolph batting ninth. And that's a lineup that Bob Lemon shook up a little bit, Tony.
Yeah, moving Randolph in that last game against Milwaukee to the 9th spot. Willie's had a rough year. Mike Norris, 12-9 on the season. Did not have a very good second half until, well, the last two ball games he's pitched, he threw shutouts. One of the reasons he's thrown a few more fastballs, although he can go through an entire ball game and 7 of 10 pitches will be the screwball, or what some hitters say, that other funny-looking thing.
Well, we'll see. Third baseman Klutz moves in close for Jerry Mumphrey. Mumphrey 6'1", 185. It's a ball. Born in Tyler, Texas, still lives there. He came over from the San Diego Padres along with John Pacella for Rupert Jones, Joe LaFay, Tim Lawler, and Chris Welsh. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mumphrey. Mike Norris, 12-9 on the year. Fouled out of play, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Mike Norris, as a kid, a teenager, in fact, came up for the Oakland A's under Alvin Dark. First outing, pitched a shutout. Very important to that Oakland ball club. Then he hurt his elbow. Had bone chips removed, calcium deposits. They thought his career might be over. He's battled back.
Screwball, and he got him. That's that breaking pitch, and there they go asking the umpire about that pitch. Could be to ask if it was a strike, but just wonder if he wasn't setting something up.
MILBOURNE.
We'll show you the last pitch, the screwball. He changes speeds 4 or 5.
Number 18.
See how far ahead of the pitch Mumphrey was. The motion on that screwball ball by Norris fools hitters almost as much or more as does the action on the ball.
So there's 1 away. The batter is Milbourne. Time is called now. Something on the field in left center field. Milbourne, born in Port Norris, New Jersey, now lives in Kirkland, Washington. He came from the Seattle Mariners for Brad Goulden and Cash in November of 1980. He has really done a job, this fella. It is low, ball 1. Klutz moves in on the grass, very tight at third base. There you see him. Milbourne, 4 hits in his last 5 at bats. Right field base hit. And that brings up Dave Winfield, who should get a big hand from this almost capacity crowd, if not a capacity crowd.
Number 31, Dave Winfield. Left field. Number 31.
Winfield, 13 home runs, 68 runs batted in, hit .294 on the year.
They talked again about Billy Ball and the speed on this Oakland ball club. The Yankees have some players can run. Mumphrey, of course, who made out. There's Billy. Milbourne, he might take a chance. Winfield can steal. Jackson might surprise you. Randolph down at the end of the lineup. So there is a possibility we could see more running by the Yankees than by the Oakland A's. We'll see how the series develops.
Out. Mike Norris against Dave Winfield. Milbourne at first. First baseman is Kelvin Moore. Strike. A fast.
Mike Norris, a superb athlete. One of the best fielding pitchers in the American League.
Winfield waiting. Norris taking plenty of time, checking that runner. Slow curveball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That last pitch, the slow curve and the fastball, are pitches that Norris used a little bit more late in the season. He fell in love with the screwball.
Inside, 2 balls and a strike. Winfield is 6'6", 220 as we look at Reggie Jackson. Born in St. Paul, now lives in San Diego. He was signed as a free agent for $1.5 tons of money. With or without inflation, he got a lot. 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
Threw something off speed, even though Winfield was ahead in the count 2-1.
Boyer, Billy Martin, and Art Fowler. Billy saying something to the umpire, Nick Bremigan. Fowler, the pitching coach, very simple in his directions to his pitchers. You can't catch a walk. Throw strikes is what he tells them. You'll see a lot of first pitch strikes, but Norris is behind 3-1 here. Walked him. And that brings up Reggie Jackson.
Norris trying to reach back for something extra on the 3-1 pitch. Hard fastball, overthrew it, got away from it.
Number 44, Reggie Jackson. Right field. Number 44.
Reggie Jackson. Norris motioning his second baseman. McKay had just talked to his shortstop, Picholo. There's 1 man out. Reggie had 15 home runs, drove in 54 runs on a regular season, had a .237 batting average. Joe Altobelli way out of the coach's box. Ball 1. Norris averaged 3.3 walks per 9 innings, but he did have 14 wild pitches, the most in the American League. Hit 10 batters, which placed him second. Steve had 11. Witt hit 11. 2-0. And now here comes the Billy Martin.
Well, Billy got the cheers that you heard during Brian Gumbel's pregame show. As he took the field, he's getting some boos now.
Tell you, the directions right here will be direct and forthright. And it'll go back to what I said a moment ago that Art Fowler passes on. You can't catch a walk, and you start falling behind the Reggie Jackson's 2 balls and no strikes, where they can look for a pitch. They'll drive it into the next county. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Milburn is on into second. Winfield is on in first. We have no score in the bottom of the first. And there you see the runners. Winfield.
Off speed. Screwball.
Big pitch. Gutty pitch. 2 balls and a strike to count. Clete Boyer. Billy Martin, Art Fowler in the inset. Another screwball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Reggie trying to put 3 quick ones on the scoreboard. Mike Norris has come back.
Look at Reggie watching Norris. Talking to the umpire, you asked for the ball, Reg? Norris walked off the dirt surface and went to his forehead, his cap.
Could be 2. There's 1. Throw. Not in time.
There was a case where one of the intangibles of Dave Whitfield comes into play.
Number 17.
Good play by Dave McKay. Watch Winfield take out Piccolo. He put enough pressure on him that he couldn't quite get enough on the ball, and Reggie really hustled it out. Here comes the takeout from left center field. And you know Piccolo sees Winfield coming. His big long strides, Reggie beats it out.
As big as Winfield is, 6'6", 220, that's got to be like the 5'15" coming down at you. He bobbled the ball just slightly when he first got it, and then with McKay, and when he gave it to Piccolo could hear the thundering herd, and he didn't quite get the good stuff on it. So there are 2 outs, and here's Oscar Gamble, who had 10 home runs, 27 runs batted in. He looks for that ball inside so he can hit it down the right field line, which is only 310.
Good low ball hitter.
Strike. At third base, Milbourne. At first base, Reggie Jackson. 2 outs, no score.
They're not holding Reggie on down at first base. Calvin Moore will back off for the pitch.
There goes Reggie.
You bet.
They'll not make a play.
Reggie has a chance to show you a little smarts right here in his experience. He has been a base stealer in his career. When he saw that Moore, even though there's a left-handed hitter up, he knew he had it made with a head-first slide. They gave him those extra 2 steps by not holding him close.
One ball and 1 strike to count on Oscar Gamble. Milbourne's at third, Jackson at second. Low. 2 balls and a strike. The on-deck batter is Greg Nettles. There you see him.
With Reggie getting down there, not only is a single score 2, but he takes that force out away. Put some pressure on an infielder.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Oscar Gamble. Jackson at second, Milbourne at third.
So Oscar Gamble would have to hit a bullet to get it to the right side of that infield. McKay and Calvin Moore really closing that gap. Gamble, the pull hitter he is.
Foul ball out of play.
McKay, who is kind of ambling over to second base now, will move closer in the hole. He will play the count very well. Dave McKay does not have a whole lot of speed. This has been a maligned Oakland infield. Look at their 2 shortstops, though. Piccolo and Stanley, they made just 8 errors all season long, and McKay is very steady.
Down the left field line, a screwball, but it's a foul ball. He changes speeds on so many pitches, and this screwball, when Keogh, his fellow pitcher, talks about it, he says that the spin on the screwball is so tight and the motion so fast that he's, for all intents, a left-hander throwing right-handed. But he also changes speeds.
Joe, he's one of the guys who benefited from having elbow surgery. When we first saw him, when he came up as a teenager under Alvin Dark, he threw fastball slider. When he hurt his arm, he had to learn to throw off-speed pitches, and he learned the screwball.
There it is. He missed. And it's 3-2. He took something off, and you could see that Norris thought he was going to get it by Gamble.
It's the old Johnny Sain theory, and I think Art Fowler believes the same theory. If you can get off-speed stuff over the plate, when you're behind a hitter on a 3-2 count, you can win in the big leagues.
Well, I'll tell you, Tony, Johnny Sain maybe be the latest, but that thing's been around, you know. Throw something beside the fastball to the hitter, 2-0, 3-1. Really makes the difference. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Walked him. Bases are loaded. Greg Nettles the batter. Norris, who averaged averages 3.3 walks. He's walked 2 men in this inning. And Nettles, with 15 home runs, 46 runs batted in, hit .244 on the regular season. As we look at Bob Lemon.
Every hitter in this Yankee lineup makes a pitcher work, doesn't he? You can't just lay the ball in down the middle.
Strike. This is definitely a pitcher's ballpark, and big right center, left center as you look at it. But the pitcher has to be careful down that right field line. 310. Get that ball inside. Two strikes on Greg Nettles. Against Milwaukee in the miniseries, Nettles was 1 for 17, 1 run scored, .059 average. So he has been cold.
In this ballpark, Nettles is as much a threat as any Yankee hitter because he pulls the ball well as consistently as Gamble.
Left center field. No one will get this one. It'll be extra bases. 1 run in, 2 runs in. Gamble's going to try to score. Here's the throw. They got a chance. He's in there. 3 runs in.
This is a marvelous piece of hitting. You don't see Greg Nettles given too often and go with a pitch like that. But he took a screwball, a little up in the strike zone, but might have been 6 inches off the plate outside. And he just served it out. Here comes the throw. Very dangerous slide by Oscar Gamble, but he jars Newman loose.
So the Yankees have cashed in on a 3 RBI double by Greg Nettles. The bases on balls have come home to score. And here is Bob Watson. High, ball 1.
And Joe, that Winfield pressure on the ground ball, a possible double play ball, will go overlooked in the box scores tomorrow, but that could have been a very important slide by Winfield.
One ball, 1 strike. And I tell you, the papers have been full of the clubhouse meeting that George Steinbrenner had, and whether they want to admit it or not, I see a lot of head-first sliding. Jackson head-first in the second base. Oscar Gamble head-first in the home plate, and that's always dangerous. Curveball hangs high. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the man who was the biggest target of that tirade by Steinbrenner is the on-deck batter, Rick Cerrone. Down the left field line, but curving foul. Nettles at second base. Bob Watson against Milwaukee was 7 for 16, a .438 average. Scored 2 runs, drove in 1, so he was a hot hitter during the miniseries. On the year, he had 6 home runs with 12 runs batted in.
Norris has thrown a lot of pitches this inning.
Misses. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yankees. After Mumphrey was out on strikes, Milbourne singled. Winfield walked. Jackson hit a ground ball. Looked like a double play, but as Tony said, Winfield put some pressure. It was only a force out. Gamble walked and Nettles doubled. Deep to left center field. Going back, Murphy. Henderson. Murphy makes the play out there in Death Valley. 430 feet from home plate, and it is really Death Valley here at Yankee Stadium, both in right field, right center, and left center. Long out ends the inning at the end of 1 complete inning. Yankees 3, Oakland nothing. Armas, Klutz, and more.
Armas is usually pitched by the opposition with breaking stuff away. He hits to all fields. He likes the fastball, and from the middle of the plate on out, generally. So Tommy John goes to work against the right-hand batting Tony Armas, and there's a line shot to right. The first runner for the A's, a leadoff single by Tony Armas. Mickey Klutz will be the batter. Talking about most valuable player awards, at one time they were made and announced before the World Series. But a fellow named Roger Peckinpah came along, won it in 1925 as Yankee shortstop. He was announced as the most valuable player. Then he made 8 errors in the World Series, and it was a little bit embarrassing. So they wait until after the series now. Mickey Klutz takes a ball in too close. He's the right-hand batting third baseman.
He didn't play a whole host of games at 11 homers. He must have a little power, Ernie.
Yeah, he was hurt a good part of the year. And he takes a ball low. Ball 2 on Mickey. Batted .370 with 5 homers and 11 RBIs. Swings. There's a bounding foul hit down past the dugout of the Oakland A's. It bounces up into the seats. 2-1 the count on him. 3-0. The Yankees have the lead. They got all 3 in the opening inning. John delivers. Bounding ball off the glove of John. Now picked up by Nettles. No play. Everybody's safe. And the A's have 2 men on and nobody down as they try to come back here early. Mickey Klutz, a one-time Yankee, hits the ball off the glove of Tommy John. That will be scored as an infield hit. Now we've got Kelvin Moore, the young first baseman, coming to bat. He was in Tacoma, having a great year when they brought him up in August. He's a big home run hitter. Right-hand batter waiting, and he swings, taps one towards second base. Randolph over to Milbourne. One relay to the first baseman. Watson pulls him off the bag, and they miss the double play. Oh, they'll end up with runners at first and third and 1 away.
Ron Guidry's warming up in the Yankee bullpen. I don't know whether he's just loosening up out there for a future start or whether he warmed up because the A's got a couple of men on. I would guess that he's tuning up for the future.
I would have to agree with you on that. Here's Jeff Newman now, the right-handed batting catcher, coming to the plate. Newman hit .231 of the season and had 3 homers and 15 runs batted in.
In that first inning, Ernie, Norris threw 34 pitches and Tommy John only 15.
That tells you a story right there. Now 1 out and 2 men on. The pitch is fouled away. Back at the plate. Strike 1 the count on Jeff Newman. Jeff belonged to the Cleveland Indians in the early part of his career. Never got to play for them, and he was bought by Oakland in the winter of 75-76. Right-hand batter standing deep, waiting. The outfielder left on him. John delivers. Here's a bounding ball toward short. Nettles has it. Throw to second, 1. Relay to first. It is a double play, and the A's threat is over. Nettles to Randolph to Watson. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 man left. That at the end of 1.5 innings. The Yanks 3, Oakland nothing. And also one of the centers of controversy. Controversy between him and the Yankee owner, George Steinbrenner.
Steinbrenner sent him a note down via Reggie Jackson.
There's a slow pitch that's over but low, ball 1.
I don't know what it said, but I think it probably said, hey, look, in the heat of battle, we were both